Hey, beautiful human. So in this video today, what I want to show you is how to basically build brand through an intersection of who you are and what you do, and using insights from your lived experience to stand out in a sea of AI, right? Because what is happening right now is information is overloading us, right? So there's been a drastic change because it is so easy to show up, right? You just type into GPT or Claude or whatever, and I've got nothing against it, but on an economic scale, it's so much easier to feed the supply curve with content that it's becoming more and more average, right? Like everybody's pixel perfect, everybody can get out there, and previously people who couldn't create content now can with the help of AI. But if information is there, right, what is becoming more scarce is insight. Insight comes from lessons, from you having done something, like a lived experience. So I wanted to share a little bit of how I think of content here, because we've got to be a little more unpredictable. We've got to be a little more raw and truthy if we want to build brand. Brand is essentially the only thing we have left if we were to compete with these things, right? And people, I mean, this is just a bold prediction, but what is going to become more and more scarce is going to be presence, people who can hold spaces, that whole word of mouth, like me being in a room with you, whether virtually or physically even, is going to become a lot more scarce because people will crave human to human connection. I'm seeing channels like YouTube now switch their algorithms or their monetization to favor human beings over AI. And we are at a very, very interesting intersection, right? So how I think of content is, on the left side, you've got who, which is this little smiley guy over here, me without the hair. And then we've got what. So what you do in your day-to-day as a business owner, as a content creator, whatever you are, and who you are outside of that. So if I just write down a little bit of this, and hopefully you'll get some stuff brewing and some ideas, is when I look at myself, on the left side, we want to do share content. And share content is essentially hobbies, interests, values, philosophies, maybe perspectives or opinions of things you can share to show who you are, and non-business activities. So for the people who know me as a business consultant, let's say, or a mentor, the who I am part is very, very different, right? So for those of you who do know me, you may know a few bits. If you don't, hopefully this exercise will show you, and the same applies to you. So for me, I sort of built my universe on LinkedIn. There's like 50,000 or so followers, give or take, and did it through sharing who I am as well, right? Because you build community this way, you build brand. I'm the guy with the bun and the tattoos, visually speaking, but I'm also a newbie dad, right? I'm also somebody who loves watermelon. I'm also somebody who hates Crocs, right? I'm really vocal about these things. I'm somebody who plays guitar, right? I think I've got them right there behind me, right? So I'm a musician. I am a runner. These are all things that show who I am. And in my little universe, I've got, what do we do over here? In my little universe, I've got Mrs. A, my wife, and I've got Miss, or Little Miss N, my daughter, right? And I show all of those aspects of who I am online, but that is sort of the hobbies or the life side of who I am and what I want to share. Additionally, I've got philosophies, I've got values, I've got opinions, right? Like, I hate sales calls. I love Google Docs, right? I love selling without sales calls. I believe in my philosophy of becoming a modern maker, somebody that can sell with one offer, one post, and one email a day, low stress, 3 days a week. That's how I've built a 7-figure business myself, doing that. So these are, again, there's values in there, there's philosophies, there's all sorts of things in here that somebody might turn around and go, I disagree, or I really agree and I vibe with you. And that is who I am. That is me sharing those, again, lived experiences, but the values and all of that stuff that show who I am. And that's where I attract aligned clients. Now, if I only shared this, I would be a lot more of like an influencer, right? So people would resonate, right? Resonance. But they wouldn't see the relevance. And that is what the what content does on the other end. So, and that's where a lot of people go wrong. They share a lot of the who and they become an influencer, right? Like Kim Kardashian style. I love what you do. I love your lifestyle. I love knowing what hotel you went through and what trip you did and who you went with and how you felt. But when you sell something, if the what isn't dialed in, I then can't see how that's relevant to me if I'm looking for some sort of service. So on the other side of it, we've got what you do in your day-to-day. So here, looking at myself, I want to show you, right, by demonstrating what I do in my day-to-day. And the way that I show you is I collect content. I don't create content. I'm not going to look at this random hook or this inspirational post by someone I read and I'm going to create it. I'm just going to go to my calendar and I'm going to be like, who did I call? What did I do? What sort of outcome was present? And can I collect that experience? So what I do, so this week I helped somebody package a proximity offer. So it had 2 tiers, and inside of that there was group coaching, then there was one-on-one coaching, and then we bolted on a done for you layer. So they were marketing all sorts of things. One second, what did I do here? Yeah, so whatever, and I'm telling you what I did. Another thing I did was I held a workshop. So there was about 30 attendees. We spoke about bundling and unbundling our high ticket services into digital products in order to create customers and clients. So if anybody's reading these sorts of posts, they're going, oh, Jacob helped this person unbundle or bundle products and make more money. I feel that is relevant to where I am in the journey, right? Or another thing that I did is I had a 9K day on Monday morning, right? So I can break down how I had that 9K day, what I did, again, showing, simply collecting, the list of items that I went through, and people are like, oh, okay, I see that is relevant to me because he did it without sales calls, so bringing in the who. He did it with this sort of system and he did whatever. Now, it doesn't have to be this way. That is just simply what happened to me. If you're a beginner, it could be I got set up on LinkedIn, or I fixed my YouTube thumbnail. It doesn't matter what you did, you're demonstrating, right, what it is. And the reason why this side is a rectangle is because you can have small things like products, and you can have big things like one-on-one. You can also have mid-ticket things that could be groups or whatever it may be. If you're a service provider, that could be different sort of product lines that you have, but you're essentially looking at what you do and you're documenting that to create content in the center. Now, at that intersection, we can also create a hybrid post eventually that sort of mixes who you are and what you do, right? So I can say, I took my daughter out for a walk. I barely worked yesterday and I made $1,000, and here's how. So the walk, the daughter shares a little bit of who I am. And what I did was I made that amount of money in this specific way. Now, the key word here is insight, because it's coming from a lived experience that I am collecting and I am not creating. And that is how we build brand. So hopefully that was useful to you and it got some ideas, and you can look at your calendar and ask, what problem did I solve? Who did I help? What solution? Was there a lesson in there? Did I make any mistakes that I can own up to? So in that process, you also want to document the good, the bad, and the ugly, because none of this is just shiny, right? And on the who you are side as well, you can have things like humor, wit, anger, if you're an angry type of dude or dudette, doesn't really matter, but bring in that side, because when we build brand in a sea of AI, that is what is going to help us stand out. And maybe I'll do another video some other time, but by building brand, for me, I was able to take my online income and turn it into offline income, and have like a group of companies and things that all stemmed from the JPEG's brand online, right? Like the audience that I built. But topic for another time. For now, get your who's, get your what's, get out there sharing things and showing and create that intersection. So hope you found this useful, and I'll see you in the next video. You can hit subscribe, ask any questions below. Would love to help.